Towers of Doom, game number 1. Poland versus the Ukraine at the Nexus Contest. So this should actually be an interesting one. I think both of the teams have pretty good players. Now again, we're looking at Masters and Grandmaster level again when we're talking about the Nexus Contest. Pros, former HTC pros, are not allowed to play in this. This is like to give the more amateurs a chance to rise and get their name out there. But these are still good players that are playing here. And former HTC players are allowed to coach. So Mene, again, as the example, is coaching France. So he's helping with drafts, helping with strategy and training. Maiev has been a very consistent ban, and Towers of Doom is a map that we haven't really seen so far. We looked at Spain versus Italy, and we also had France versus... Who did they actually play? Finland. France versus Finland a bit earlier. But now Maiev banned and Zeratul banned, so already no shenanigans around Void Prison. We have Global taking away, so no Dehaka for them. And Abathar. I feel the priority on heroes like Abathar and Tyrande, as well as to an extent Maiev, is rising the more skill is involved in the game. You don't see those prioritized as highly when you're looking at like lower amateur scene play. But now again, the immediate first pick on Tyrande. Every single stun setup that you can have with a Diablo, with a Garrosh is really powerful here. Garrosh already taken together with Hanzo. Leaves us with Diablo, leaves us with Muradin. We have even seen the Varian play with Taunt, which worked quite well. For Spain, trying to get the extra CC in and then the stun damage. So with Tyrande, you have so many options there. And of course, when you're looking at this map in particular, with the Owl, you can also just interrupt a channel on an altar, and that really helps you to delay it a little bit longer. Reyna, another very, very consistent early pick that we are seeing, simply because he has great sustainable damage and also survivability now, especially with Fight or Flight on level 4, even though we've seen a couple of Behemoth armors taken earlier today. Johanna adds a bit more wave clear to the mix. Makes it a little bit harder for Tyrande to really get a setup with a stun, but if you're throwing a Blessed Shield out, for example, it's still there. And of course, you can suck people in as well with a quick condemn. Blaze didn't really get banned out in the first round, but we are still having him targeted in ban number 2. And still a little bit curious to see what's going to happen for the last ban on the side of the Ukraine here, what they're afraid of. When you have a Garrosh on the other side, so any follow-up on the flip, maybe a support ban. Stukov, Malfurion, both of really good follow-ups onto that. And yeah, Malfurion gets banned out. So no roots after Garrosh flip. If Garrosh flips into the root, that can always be a big problem for you. Stukov does that to an extent too. At least it makes it more difficult for the target to escape, right? So that's something that they could maybe use to their advantage here as well. Li Ming. So we have a lot of firepower from Li Ming alone already. With Calamity, with any kind of like AWP setup. So that is going to be pretty strong if they can isolate the target. And a white main. I mean, once you have your 13 on white main, it's a little bit similar to what Stukov can offer with a virulent reaction, right? You are in a position where you can then start to just like lock them down with a quick stun. And that's would be great, but it really makes that combo more so powerful towards the late game. Of course, she offers a lot more to this. But the offlaners, we still haven't seen any commitment there. We'll be shocked to not see Blaze. I mean, Blaze, Leoric, Thrall, Arthurs as well. We've seen Arthurs a few times. Arthurs and Jaina, fantastic procs for Reyna with the ace in the hole in level 1. Like, he can capitalize on these slows so easily. Has Johanna for slows, has Arthurs, has Jaina. Like, he should be able to get a ton of damage out, especially since Arthurs, Johanna at the front line also make a very hit point heavy and very difficult to break through setup. So this is going to be pretty sick. Last pick now for Poland. And Malthael. Alright. Malthael, the bad boy, gets a start here. Guys, we're ready. Game number 1, let's jump right into it. Towers of Doom, our first map between Poland and Ukraine. Game number 1 on Towers of Doom. Poland going up against Ukraine, and to the left in blue, the Polish team with Moram on Li Ming, Lavikal on Hanzo, Harpoon on Garrosh, Go Terror on Malthael, and Dealer on Whitemane. To the right side of the map, their opponent, the Ukrainian players, with Shamzik on Tyrande, Denardo on Johanna, Witness on Reyna, Candlelight, Romantic on Arthurs, and Valamax on Jaina. Okay, level 1 talent as expected. This is going to be the big one. Ace in the hole when you're playing with a Tyrande, Johanna, with Arthas and Jaina is going to be fantastic. It's going to be so much more damage for Reyna very consistently throughout the entire game. Very easy for him to get value out of the talent. Also on a Pale Horse, by the way, for the movement speed bonus for Malthael. And we're seeing Clemency, so an Inquisition build started for Whitemane at the beginning of the match. But yeah, for Reyna this is absolutely great, because if you are looking at that, then we're having Jimmy currently with support in terms of his level 1 talent choice on every single hero on his lineup. It's great for him. It's absolutely fantastic. The rotation, the question for me simply is how much can they do with Tyrande? Because Tyrande really wants to set something up for Jaina, right? So a 4-man rotation would be strong, but they're not doing that right now. And also, Johanna doesn't really have that reliable lockdown that another hero might have. In the later stage of the game, it's not going to be so much of an issue, because then you have the Howling Blast coming in from Arthas as well. But in the early game, when you oftentimes want to look for these kills, it might be a little bit more tricky for them to get that done. At least the way they're setting the map up right now. I'm really wondering if it might have been an option for them to keep Johanna topside for the beginning of the game and maybe rotate with Arthas, but that would really be trying to force it maybe a little bit too much. As it stands, it's not really an issue. Both teams are going for the mercenary camps, trying to take them down and onto the map. So, yeah, no real advantages just yet, but still, the setup that we're seeing for the Ukraine here is really powerful. This is definitely a solid lineup and with a lot of synergy that we're having. Not only for one-shot potential on any hero through Jaina, but then as we talked about earlier, the extra damage that comes in from Reyna. It's a very well-rounded draft, I feel. Whereas we are seeing a lot of synergies also for Poland, but it's not quite as strong as what we're having here. But again, yeah, there's already Garrosh, tries to go for Reyna, doesn't get quite that, zoned out immediately, maybe a little bit of an early Iron Skin here, but just trying to make sure that Garrosh doesn't get the flip in. Could even wait a little bit longer and see if you flips you in, and then use the Iron Skin to move out. That is odd! Malthael and Arthas went toe to toe and never really went back. So now Arthas dodges the combo, gets the kill, taps the fountain. But yeah, they definitely wanted to duke it out there. You don't really see that all that often. Normally what you have on the solo lane is just a little bit of a... I don't really want to say it's all the time resident sleeper, but you're trying to just... It's rare that you see the solo kill on the solo lane. Normally that's not really what's going on there. But yeah, that was a big loss now for Malthael. For the blue team, for Poland, not really all that much. I mean, yes, it's a bit annoying, it cost you some experience, but they didn't lose too much XP because the rotation from Jaina happened, from Liming happened immediately, and that definitely helped. So now you would expect a fight over this altar down here. The top side is just going to be a quick exchange between Malthael and Arthas. But down here, still the attempt to go for a bit of a zone. Alright, Liming makes it in too. But we are still having this one being fought over, and Arthas is starting to rotate in, and so does Malthael. So we're going to have a 5 versus 5. Is there going to be a setup? They're zoning out Malthael for now. More zoning happening, but there comes Garrosh from behind. It's a bit too late though, because Whitemane is already down. They're trying to go for... The mistakes were made. They're going for Malthael, and he actually jumps in. He was in a position where he could have walked out, but he actually commits to the fight in a 4 versus 5 setup and gets taken out too. Second death of Malthael. That definitely didn't really work for them, and that's another 4 shots already acquired. So 36 against 32. It's not bad, but it's just like, that was a bit of an odd move by Malthael to just jump into the battle like this. Either way, right now, the lead is clearly in the hands of the Ukraine. As I said, they are currently looking to take the map topside. We have with Jaina and Arthas now also an approach towards the camp. Bottom of the map, both camps are taken too. And this is a bit of an information battle as well, because Poland doesn't know there's a second hero at the top. Jaina worked really well with vision and never showed, and that means the entire time Poland had to assume that the Ukraine was taking their own camp at the right side with 4 heroes or not 3. If they would have known about Jaina being top, they would have gone in there and try and contest it. But they're still gonna get a kill, because Valamax is a little bit too far out, and it was a really cool setup here and a nice approach. So the kill against Jaina happens, and that's definitely them showing some signs of life. Down here, the escort, at least the mercenary is in, so that is already starting to take the wall down. But at least we're having Poland fighting back to this. I like that a lot. Level 7 talents, the Celestial Attunement, Intercession for White Mane, Calamity, of course, for Li Ming. Seeing slight adjustments on a few of the heroes. First of all, Fight or Flight on Jimmy, and I like that. But when you're looking over to Arthur's, he went into the Immortal Coil, using that. So, gets the additional healing effect in. Can be really cool for the sustainability later on in the fights. So, it's not really too bad. Also, when we are looking at that, Touch of Death. With that, I'm always a little bit torn. Like, I feel Touch of Death has a lot of really good uses. I'm just not sure if against Tyrande it's really the best hero to take. Then again, you have a lot more heroes that have some self-heal. So, I'm not really, like, too worried about that. I wonder just if it influences the level 10 choice for him as well. But I would still expect last rights. Quest talents completed. Stuns coming out. The immediate move, and Malthael is down. They're just walking them down with all the slows and all the damage. Johanna might actually fall, but barely gets away from this one. Can still fight though, but Garrosh has to be careful, and the altar is already channeled. Valamax still with the damage on this Jaina, and they are bringing the pain. Oh, the numbers. Jimmy at 5,500. Just look at Arthur's. Thanks to the constant battle that he had with Malthael at the top lane, he's even the one who's currently holding the top damage numbers on his team. Yes, of course, Hanzo is getting quite a few out there too. Li Ming. Oh. Phew. Barely escapes. That was a close call, to be honest with you. Barely gets out of there. Blessed Shield Hyperion. There's the Ring of Frost that we've been missing in the previous games. Army of the Dead. On the Tenzine. Heroic abilities now also for Poland. And we're having them with the arrow, obviously. Also, there's the last rites. Okay. Pretty much what you would expect. Nothing really too strange. I mean, the one thing to really talk about is maybe Hyperion over Reina's Raiders. Personally, I like Hyperion a lot, especially on maps that force the fight on a particular point. And right now, you can take bell towers, you can fight off an altar, you can really zone the opponent out. I'm a big fan of that. There's a lot of advantages. Oh, nice arrow. Maybe a little bit short. No follow-up. Would have been better if they could have gotten the follow-up. Wasn't all that nice, I'm lying. But the thought process was good. They're funneled into that point, so you get the arrow in. If you have a follow-up there, you can definitely do a lot of damage and then you get a kill. Great invade though. Li Ming shows mid lane, so they know that they have a numeric advantage again, and they're going for it immediately. Taking that. I mean, it's a 5-man. Malthael is the only one topside. But I wanted to talk about Reina's Raiders for a second. It's really cool as a scout tool as well, because it can just send the Banshee forward and play around that. But when it comes just to zone control and getting the damage out, Hyperion is just fantastic. And of course, Hyperion is also limited to a certain duration of time, whereas if played correctly, a Banshee gives you basically value all the time. Wow, intercession here and the heal on Li Ming, but she was in way more trouble than she should have been there. So gets caught a bit. 4 kills against 1 thus far. The only one dying was Valamax on his Jaina when the rotation caught him. But Ukraine is playing this really well. Candlelight face checks the bush, but it's only a Malthael, and Gotaro is realizing, this game isn't really going too well for me, so probably I shouldn't fight with those bad boys. They're a little bit too tough for my liking. Ukraine still pushing the envelope here. They're only slightly ahead in experience, but they are taking the core down of their opponent. 24 against 32. That's currently the count here when it comes to hit points. Still the attempt to go for Malthael. There's the lockdown, and goodbye. Valamax with the constant rotations to the top, and Candlelight in this position. They're doing so well. And it's really tricky for Taro, because he's in a spot where he really wants to have a bit of an influence. He doesn't want to give the lane up completely. He just is not really in the know if Jaina is there. They need to communicate that a bit better. As long as the rest of his team just doesn't give him the signal, listen, we have 4 heroes here against us, he has to assume there is a trap set up. Harpoon gets actually pushed out of the stun by Witness and the penetrating round. Couldn't really get a kill anyways, I assume. But now we have another altar spawning. It's a double altar phase. And level 13 talents. 13 talents in. And that gives another big advantage to the Ukraine. Poland has a small gap here. They should actually get it by the time that the altars are up. They should be able to fight on even talents against this. But this is really one of those moments where you know if the game is slowly going to start to shift, if Poland is not going to make some moves now. Oh, not again. They're going for the kill, and they get him. Ring of Frost comes out, and it's going to get worse from here on out. There's the Hyperion. They're chasing them down, but every single time these stuns keep hitting. And now that we have Malthael taken down. It looks like it's going to be the end of Garrosh as well. He gets the flip it against Johanna, but that's not going to result in a kill. Or is it? Could tank a bit of damage, and they do. But even Hanzo has to move out. Two of the heroes don't even deal with all this shit anymore. They're just like channeling the altar right away. It's like, yeah, you guys brawl a little bit, but we're going to start ending that game. 32 against 16, doubling the hit points on the core. Ruthless is just like completely cheeky and sassy as going in, making sure that they're stealing the camps away. They have the leading experience. They take one camp after another. 7 kills against 1. They are really doing work, especially when you're looking towards Jaina. The kills that come out for the follow-up with Arthas are fantastic. And talking Arthas, I mean, he is really running this right now. Damage output is there, and bam, another one dead. Okay, we're not going to talk about the Blessed Shield. Nobody saw that. Reyna goes down, and they get to Randa too. So all of a sudden, maybe Poland able to get a bit more out of this. The throw forward, and they let the arrow right in as well, and they completely wipe the bot lane. They lose the bell tower, but Poland just saying, we're not done yet. Yes, this is looking bad, but we're not done yet. And they get the quad kill, and they're back in experience, and they are able to get their bell tower back. So, fair enough. They are not completely throwing this out just yet. Arthur is just sitting there, and he's just thinking like, guys, are you serious? I'm not with you. It's just not working out. But yeah. Like, the Blessed Shield was kind of funny, though. It was really a bit interesting. Like, he massively misclicked on that one. I wonder if they could have won the fight if the Blessed Shield actually connected. Triple altar phase. And the 16 talent is a bit quicker in the hands of Poland. Ukraine doesn't quite have that yet. It's still a massive lead in hit points on the core, so don't get me wrong. So, if you can win 2, I mean, Poland has to win 2 now, I feel. And they're trying to make it work topside. And they should be able to. Alright, a little bit out-rotated. They take 2, give up 1. They might even get the kill. They should get the kill. Even with the Army of the Dead, that should be a kill. And yep, maybe. Okay, Arthas is down. They can zone now. The army is still there, but yeah, Reyna, you can't just eat a combo like this, dude. Blessed Shield immediately thrown out. Hyperion being used. Indomitable. And they're trying to still fight. I'm a little bit weirded out by the attempts that we're seeing here from Ukraine. They're trying. Can they actually win? This is a 4 versus 5. They gotta be kidding me, right? They get the kill against Johanna. Turanda is basically dead, and there's the kill against Jaina. Ukraine is starting to throw. They were a bit out-rotated because they expected a fight over the bottom altar, and that didn't happen. Instead, Poland moved in for the second at the top right. And then Ukraine, for whatever reason, thought that they could actually fight this in a 5 versus 4 after Arthas fell. And, well, Poland told them pretty quickly that that's not the case. So all of a sudden, we're having a level lead for Poland. They're still behind on the core points, 12 to 24. But they're starting to really put their foot down and get the position on the map itself. So, Ukraine needs to take a bit of a breath. Go ahead, boys. You're doing well. No need to give your opponent a massive experience advantage. Alright, now, the late game talents, of course, coming to play now too, which means that Li Ming with a mirror ball can really start to fire away and get the damage on a single target in if there's a setup. Malthael hasn't gotten a stack yet. He has a bit of an idea about the stacking process here. Still sitting at 0. 7 for Turanda. Arthas is starting to complete his own. I mean, he didn't really participate in too many team fights, so he didn't get too many opportunities after he started the rotation between middle and top anymore. That being said, on the damage board, Jimmy is slowly starting to take over, as expected at the beginning of the game. Arrow comes out, doesn't hit Arthas, they're still flipping him in, and here comes the quick kill and the first stack for Malthael as well. Ring of Frost is out, 5 versus 4, Scarlet Egg is being used, and Ukraine has to move back. Even with the arrow not connecting, Arthas is dead, and that is once more setting themselves behind. Especially since the altar is going to come up another 10 seconds, and guess what? Good old Arthas is going to be back in 20. You can do the math there. They're even trying to go for another bell tower down here real quickly. Might be able to even get that. I doubt it, though. They have to make that choice. And Malthael is already saying, like, boys, come on, let's just get the altar here. Let's not give them a chance to bring Arthas back into the game. Bell tower's only down to half HP, so chill. But they have put the damage on, so they can convert that maybe a little bit later. Get another advantage here. And just look at experience. They're going to hit Storm Talons way before them. And that's going to give the map control for quite a significant amount of time. And then you can make a choice. Do you play for boss? Do you play for bell tower? Do you just wait for an objective? They have a couple of options with all of this once they hit that 20. And Ukraine knows that too. Experience situation is a little bit weird given the early game, but now we have also the kill lead for Poland. They are not out of this by any means. Malthael taking the top camp, has the mercenaries there. And now it's just try and get 20. Poland is not going to fight anytime soon. Poland is sitting there just saying like, yeah boys, we're fine. You rotate, we are just going to get ourselves 20. And well, if you all rotate to the top, you know what we're going to do? Yep, we're going to get that bell tower a little bit earlier than we thought, or we get at least a bit more damage in. Yeah, Harpoon is waiting a little bit long for that, but he uses the Indomitable to get out of it. The slow from the bell tower itself was a little bit too rough. Even a flank attempt for a second. Arthas was thinking about it. I'm not sure if you caught that on the minimap. But Candlelight was thinking about it, but now he rotates top because there's a big wave pushing in and he needs to catch that experience. They're already too far behind. Double altar phase coming up, and another thing that's coming up is the 20. And there we have it. And that should really be the move. First of all, you're going to get that stolen away. Here comes the arrow. Can they get a kill? Li Ming with a nice setup. But, yep, Tyrande falls. Tyrande down. And can they get more? They're trying to. Oh, it's a 3-for-1. Li Ming was hoping for the resets and doesn't get them quickly enough. But it's a 3-for-1 trade. And that is an easy double altar now. Yeah, that should be... He can't fight this one. He can interrupt it, but once the rest rotates in... Bottom bell tower has also been taken. There's also 2 more mercenaries that come in. So first of all, we have the shots fired. That's 5 in immediately. That's another 5 right here. And that puts them down. And they go for boss too. 5-5. Reyna still at the bot lane to stop the mercenaries. And the rest of the team goes straight in. And all of a sudden, Poland is in the lead. 12 points on the core against 10. And make that 6 in a second. Because that boss is claimed. Can't do anything here. No 20 talents yet for the red team either. The Ukraine had a great start here, but now they are in a pretty bad spot. And let's face it, the big swap came when there was 1 kill and they were trying to get the ult at the top in a 5 versus 4. There was no reason to fight for it. They still went in and they got punished for it, and they gave up map control and they gave up a massive amount of experience that straight up ended in the hands of Poland, and now the Polish team is running this. Level 20 is finally ready. Interesting. Look at Jaina. I've seen this talent twice recently and I really don't get why. Going into the Cold Snap. Not really a talent that you think is going to do too much for you. Cold Snap is a little bit of a grief in my personal opinion. But yeah, so they're trying to get that set up for the late game fights. Jimmy not going into auto attack damage here on 20 is also something that I'm not quite sure what to do with that. Nice attempt to go for Valamax here, but immediately the counter attack. Here comes the Ring of Frost trying to get some cold snap damage too. Gets even a little bit out of there. That ult with the last rights didn't do enough, and the Ukraine takes Malthael down again. Poland retreating. Hyperion coming through. The stuns are plenty, and Harpoon, is he gonna fall? Doesn't. Yeah, he dies as well. 2 down. Can they get more? Whitemane is on the run. Li Ming is on the move. Howling Blast. They're waiting for the Howling Blast here. Cooldown is ready. Howling Blast is in. And Jimmy tries to get the kill, but he can't. Still hasn't picked his 20, by the way. Jimmy still without the 20. And there's another 4 shots fired. 6 against 8 points on the core. Starting to even up a little bit. Jimmy has still not made a choice, by the way. I actually think he forgot about his 20. There was a fight raging on or about to break out when they hit their level 20. And I think he just simply forgot to take the talent. Doesn't really make a lot of sense for him to hold it back at this point. There's nothing really to wait out. Back in the days, you would oftentimes wait with your level 7 cleanse to see what your opponent picks on 10. For example, when Tyrael oftentimes went into Judgment, that was a big concern. So you needed to wait until Tyrael picked his ult before you could pick cleanse, or knew if you had to. Goes into the Hyperion, by the way. Indomitable Resolve. It's like, I mean, again, can definitely do that. Personally, I expected him to go for auto attack damage. 2 stacks already on last right, so that reduces the cooldown by 10 seconds here. Arthas is still not completely done with his level 4. And the magic shell for him on 20. And another bell tower down here. But they can zone them out and claim the one in the middle, so it's an exchange, 4 against 4. It's getting close. It's gonna become a close match here. Ukraine versus Poland. And another attempt to maybe even go for the camp. That's 10 seconds, and we're going to have that. Double altar activating middle and bottom. If a team gets both, the game's over. And it's a great position to take this away from your opponent. This is actually a decent one. Arthas is already sitting in, and Malthael is straight walking up to him, and they're going for the fight. Here comes the arrow, here comes the Ring of Frost, and that could be a disaster for Poland. Harpoon is nearly dead. The stun hits him hard, and he falls, and he's not the only one. Malthael follows. The double kill is there, and that has to be game. The Ukraine moves in. Poland did such a great job coming back into this, but now both of them are channeling, and that, ladies and gentlemen, is game. As the core falls, Poland loses game number 1 in this series. Ukraine with the lead. GG. Well played. Game number 2, Praxis Holdout is the map. So let's go straight into our second game here. Praxis Holdout, the map choice of Ukraine, since Poland just lost, so they have first pick in the draft, but they give up the map choice. And Praxis is actually a map that I didn't necessarily expect here, so we'll see how that's going to plan out for them. Maya, first of all, gets already banned out, so that was pretty consistent the entire time. I would say that it's even more likely that we're going to see a Genji ban again, and yep, there it is. He's just too quick on the rotation. Like, with him jumping over the walls and Swift striking onto the other lane, you can make the rotation too quickly, and that puts so much pressure onto the solo laner that you oftentimes can't win that. And let's face it, Poland had problem with their solo lane already. Terror was struggling against Candlelight a lot in that setup. So, for now, we're having Garrosh also banned out. But I'm a little bit interested to see how, especially the wave clear in the 4-man looks, because that's going to be the most important part. To have decent 4-man in the wave clear lane, in the 4-man rotation, and play around that. Tyrande even getting banned out. She has been such a consistent early pick that right now Ukraine just doesn't want to risk it. They're saying, hey, if we don't ban her out, she's probably going to get picked. And we have a Nubarak. Alright, so already a little bit dive heavy. Not the first pick that I expected. I don't mind a Nubarak as a pick in general, but it's going to be a bit rough on the bot lane if they're not having a sick follow-up for that. I would assume. Yeah, it's a little bit odd. Like, it's a very, very heavy commitment to a Nubarak this early in the game. Malfurion and Hanzo are taken. So Hanzo already going to be able to really poke down at the bottom of the map. You have a little bit of mana sustained through Malfurion 2 and a lockdown after whatever happens. So, let's see how they're going to run this. I mean, I'm especially interested to see what Poland's going to do now, because if you play a Nubarak, you want to probably have Jaina again. Or at least any kind of other follow-up. I mean, we saw Ophia come in a few times, right? Junkrat for poke. Okay, they got Kayn too. Alright, Deckard is already like solid for the bot lane. Junkrat for poke. Sustainable damage. I would assume that Jimmy is going to be taken pretty quickly by one of the teams. But yeah, you still need your solo laners, and that's when we're talking again about... I mean, you could talk about Arthas again, and also expect like Malthael. Blaze in particular in this setup would be good. Okay, Hammer banned out. Yeah, I can see that. There's a Diablo ban. Getting rid of both of them. I was actually a little bit weirded out that we didn't see a tank commitment by the Ukraine on the 1-2 split. But then they played Olorith Johanna. I think they have no problem picking a Johanna here too for the bottom of the map. Could even play Stitches with this, to be honest, if you really wanted to. But then again, you want to like push into the objective, into the point. So yeah, Malfurion would be nice for a root follow-up though, no matter what you do. There's a Johanna. Li Ming. Big poke bot lane. Wave clear, mainly Johanna now. Johanna and Hanzo. And the top layer left open to have a reaction to whatever Poland is going to use here. Now, Poland still needs something bot lane. Junkrat alone can't be it. I'm still waiting for Jimmy. Yes, you have a blind against you, but at the same time, he brings the consistent damage out, has a good penetrating round to push targets back, so that would be a good pick for them. Zeratul Thrall. Ooh, I'm not quite sure if that as a whole is really the lineup to go with. Zeratul makes it dangerous. especially on the rotation. But it's also a very, very squishy lineup at that front line. That's just a risky step that Poland takes here. And Ukraine responds with Arthas again. Arthas against Zeratul, against Thrall. I think this is going to be tough for Poland. Poland needs to have really solid individual play to make this work, and it's not going to be easy for them at all. Let's go and see if Poland can do it, or if the Ukraine is going to take another victory and makes this a 2-0. So let's head straight into Praxis Khaldor. Game number 2, everyone. Poland 0, Ukraine 1. To the left side, the Polish team. Lavakal on Junkrat, Moram on Zeratul, Gotero on Thrall, Dilla on Deckard, and Harpoon on Anubarak. And to the right side of the map with a 1-0 lead, the Ukraine with the Nado on Johanna, Valamax on Liming, Witness on Hanzo, Shamzik on Malfurion, and Candlelight for the second game in a row is playing his Arthas again. So yeah, it's going to be a very, very interesting setup. I mean, Gotero is this time on Thrall. It was a little bit easier or a little bit tough for him in the last game with Malthael, so they're switching him up. But he's going up against Candlelight again, who did a great job on the solo lane. This is going to be the big one. Zeratul is the one who really needs to make the plays here, and that's something that he knows as well. He can't be far out. They're actually tripling him right now. 3 against 1. Candlelight is not going to go out until he knows what's happening here. There's just no way. He's going to be sitting there and saying, experience range is all that I need, but I just don't see him moving out. And there's already so many that want to go for it here. Echo of Elements on 1 for Thrall, and sees everyone moving in, and Candlelight's just not having none of it. But Anubarak is great to push, and that's exactly what they do right now. They want to go for a bit of Arthur's damage too. But of course, at the bottom of the map, the first tower is already gone, and the wall is opened as well. Can even poke against the fountain now. So we're going to see just them pushing. And Moram has taken damage on the Zeratul, not working out the way they were hoping for. In an ideal world, if you're Poland in this game, you're trying to get the kill against Arthas and move from there. But that doesn't happen yet. Candlelight is playing this quite nicely. And down here, another tower is about to go down, and they are just wrecking this. Wrecking it. They get the fountain easily, and it forces the rotation from Poland to come back down here. And they are now reacting. That entire opening has not worked out for them in the slightest. Great start for the Ukraine, though. Fantastic start for them. Sitting in a very, very good setup where they have now taken a significant lead at the bot lane. I can't stretch how important it is to take that fountain down this early. There's no backup anymore. There's no mana tapping or anything. So at the top, the wall stands. So your retreat spot is so much less, and they invade the camp. If they can get this too, that would be a nightmare for Poland. Poland is trying to get it, but Malfurion steps a little bit too far. Malfurion should fall here. Malfurion should die, and he does. Goes down, Zeratul drops him. It was a really good junk right mine. Ukraine a little bit too greedy, so they don't get anything here. And they lose a lot. And the rotation hits the top lane again. And Arthas needs to move back from this right away. Yeah, the stuns are there. Does he get the Howling Blast in? He's not even trying. Moves away and moves out. He still has the fountain. Gets the Howling Blast, but there's already minions in range. But 60% on the objective. Now the objective on this map isn't really all that strong anymore. It's really difficult to get. It's oftentimes easily depushed. So we're going to see how that works out. But for now, we're having again the pressure play at the bottom of the map with a 4 against 2 setup. Up to the top, at least the wall has now fallen, and Terror is trying to also get the fountain here eliminated. And Arthas had to back off, so at least bringing the equilibrium again. Again, the early game backfired for Poland. Didn't work. Or at least a very early game. But right now, they basically brought themselves up on eye level with their opponent again. And that kind of works. Zeratul, of course, in the late game is also a tool. Deckard Kane, the old man, gets taken down. Completely bullied. And now, uh-oh, Harpoon can be very, very happy about the fact that apparently the cooldown wasn't ready for another route. If he gets locked down after he tries to dive away with a burrow charge, he is toast. Up to the top here. That Singularity Spike didn't really hit anything. So still a 1 versus 2, and Candlelight is doing well in the 1 versus 2 setup. And down here, we're seeing the continuous pressure against the fort, and that fort is not going to make it. Nope, they're going to get the fort here for sure. And that's catapults already spawning. We're only 3 minutes and 40 seconds into the game. Yeah, Anubarak can't do anything. Not with Zeratul still top lane. He's slowly rotating, but that's a little bit too late. And Arthas is immediate on the job. Terror is the only one here. Arthas doesn't know that just now. But so far, the Ukrainians have communicated really well. So whenever they are seeing Zeratul, I expect them to make that play. Rotation even happening here. Arthas reclaims it. 2 against 60% now. The level 7 talents are going to be the next big one. Candlelight against Terra. Terra a little bit more comfortable, I feel, on his Thrall than he was on Malthael. On Malthael, he had a couple of weird moments. The Nubarak was for the entire time still at least faking to go for a quick snipe here and make something happen. But the reason why they're switching is pretty easy. I mean, you take down the fort, or the fort at the bottom, so now we're having Arthas taking bot lane and the 4-man rotated top. So this is the reason for the switch and why they're rotating to that camp in the first place. So, no reaction yet from Poland. They're not rotating Thrall down just yet. Thrall, by the way, 4 minutes, 40 seconds in, able to get his own quest completed. So Echo of Elements now with a double stack. 7 talents on both sides at this point. Smaragd taken for Deckard Cain. And we're actually seeing the Ancestral Healing again for Thrall, giving him a little bit more self-sustain as the fight is starting up. Keep in mind, Zeratul isn't here, it's only Thrall, so 4 versus 4 still, but with a bit of a different setup that they were running so far. And a Nubarak in trouble. Eats some damage, still able to dodge most of it. But now Zeratul is moving in, which means that Arthas is running the show at the bottom, but they get the isolation of Malfurion. Very good concussion follow-up. And Malfurion goes down. Can they get the counter kill though? Harpoon nearly falling, but able to keep himself alive. The 5 versus 4 is working out for them. Terror is eating a lot of damage. And we still have Arthas trying to see if he maybe can still have an impact here. Was considering moving in from the side and then decided against it. It was just one of those moments. If someone escapes, tries to get away, still have the play possible. But they decide against that. Candlelight now still in that spot here at the bottom of the map, holding on. They don't have a lot of vision. The problem is vision. They don't really know where everybody is, so instead they're going straight for that spot. Should even get a couple of points, but double move now at the bottom with Zeratul and Thrall. Candlelight has to be careful. The map opens up is basically what happens here. The map opens up significantly, and uh-oh, that is bad. 3 versus 4. What a shitty situation. You do all the work, and then they steal the fruits of your labor and take down Junkrat. All the work done by Poland. And then Ukraine moves in, bam, takes down the camp and takes Junkrat down. Takes him out like trash. Or junk. Arthas on the way back here, still holding that bot lane. Whenever he's in a 1 versus 2, he's always still able to make it work, but now there's all of a sudden a Nubarak moving in, and that's a little bit too much, even for you, Candlelight. He didn't see that rotation coming. There's no way he gets away. That's not happening. Nah, body blocks are already there. He's dying. He's dead, goes down, but top fort has been eliminated. 2 forts down. Poland in the lead in experience, but 2 forts down. Gotta love the new experience system, right? Creates weird moments in the game, let's put it like that. Yes, they're gonna get an advantage from here on out, but it's just still, it feels so odd to me to look at the minimap, see a team that has lost the outer ring of structures completely, and seeing the opponent fully behind when it comes to EXP. But they're taking the camps now, and we have, in terms of kills, a slight lead for Poland, but the objective, again, so far in the hands of the Ukraine. They're going to get a little bit more if Arthas is starting to claim the top, and he's easily going to be able to get that against Junkrat. The 4 versus 4, the bot lane is a very different setup. Very melee heavy now that Zeratul is joining the mix with Thrall. There's the cocoon, lasered away by Li Ming immediately. Here comes the shield. Blessed shield comes through. Zeratul is incredibly low, but the arrow is not hitting him. Moram walks away, Reptire, but Malfurion has already his tranquility and is keeping everybody alive. Li Ming is a little bit low, but moves away from this, and with them having still the fountain, they're going in for it. Zeratul with the Panic Void Prison, trying to make sure that he doesn't die here. The zoning from Johanna, and that fight. Hanzo dies. Arthas isn't here yet. They're trying to go for Malfurion, and they get the kill, but Li Ming got the reset. Takes 1, takes 2. Deckard Cain is down, and so is Thrall. It's a complete bloodbath as Zeratul falls. 2 versus 3, and the Ukraine, now that Arthas is here, will get another kill against a Nubarak. It started out as a 4 versus 5, and it ends up with a disaster for Poland as they lose 4. They only took down 2. Now the objective, a little bit more progress for the Ukraine, and they have the map wide open. They're circling around here. Arthurs is making the way over, is going to take it, and that should be a full objective number 1 for the Ukraine. They have already pressure at the bot lane thanks to a camp they took, and now they can press it even harder. Taking another camp just for good measure, and things are starting to look a bit grim for Poland here. They're losing too much ground on the map, and actually still deny the objective, at least for now. At least for the time being. But Arthur's still holding top lane, and yep, here comes the approach. Starting to take that again. 5-man commitment now by Poland. Yeah, they are going to try and force the fight here. Arthurs is moving in, taking the safe path even through the boss lane. Not even trying to flank here. Again, still having that camp at the top side, and the catapults are pushing in, so Poland can't spend too much time down here, or they will take damage on the outer ring at the fort, at the keep. The inner ring. Candlelight is looking there. Valamax is still looking for the next setup. He played great in the last fight. Several resets, several kills, playing it close. Zeratul. Poland is actually doing quite well when it comes to denying the objective. They're always circling with one around, and they have the heroes to play that as well. Because if you look at it, they have a very mobile Zeratul with a blink. They're having also a Nubarak who can dive over. But now they are forced into a battle down here that they just don't want to fight. Thrall has to defend, but at the same time he has to be here for the fight. He takes 1 or 2 of the catapults down. Here comes the cocoon. Immediate reaction from Valamax. Immediately lasering it down. No cocoon for you. Johanna is zoning the rest of the team out. A great coordination from the Ukraine. I'm loving it. Zeratul about to fall. He gets away. Oh, the kill again against Hanzo. Once more. Hanzo down. Zeratul still survives. Poland with a great turnaround in the fight. That didn't really start well for them. But now Thrall is about to fall. Yep, Thrall goes down. Are they going to lose more? Again, Harpoon on the way. No follow-up, no slows. Good job by Deckard Cain trying to prevent them from moving through with it. But the objective is now taken. And that means bot lane is going to suffer a lot of damage. Up to the top. Smaller one is there. Catapults are, of course, a huge asset now for the defense. But Zeratul is trying to get at least some counter damage in. Level 13 talents are there, and they want to go for the first keep. They want to definitely get the keep here. They're already moving in. Good move against Johanna, but the immediate reaction, they're trying to save her. Going through the sidewall right now. And now the 3-man on Poland's side has to be very careful too. It was a cool move by Junkrat for sure, but Johanna is fine. They can't go for it though. And the problem with the objective is that up at the top side, now we're having actually a fort falls. At the end of the day, this is actually a win for Poland. This is one of the things that I really dislike on Braxis, by the way. It's a 100% Zerg wave against a 0% Zerg wave. And if you look at what just happened, a fort is down for the Ukraine, and they didn't do jack shit with theirs. And there wasn't any massive wave clear. I really feel like the Zerg wave, the 100% Zerg wave, the advantage that you get through it is pretty much nothing. Like, I'm not sure if I'm the only one who really thinks that, but I really feel the objective is a joke on this map. And so far, teams haven't quite, at least in the early stages. And so far, arrow blocked by Nubarak, but oh, a noob! Barely gets away. Lornado and Riptire come in. Good damage. Waking the camp up too. But everybody walking away for now. Yeah, they get away from this. Yeah, the early objective just doesn't do really anything. And it always feels like the objective of the team that lost it heavily, even with 0% or 2 or what it was, is always way stronger than you would expect it to be. So, yeah. It was a win for Poland. It was literally a win for Poland. Either way, Ukraine is in the lead still, when it comes to experience. The structural situation has changed slightly. There's still a fort at the bottom of the map for the red team, but we're having now an entire level lead for the Ukraine. And the last time on Towers of Doom, they made a bit of a misplay when they engaged into a 4 versus 5 that they shouldn't have taken, and it started turning against them. But right now, they're still holding on to that lead, and they're making the decisions a little bit smoother about which fight to take here. Both of the teams busy with the camps now, and the blue team finally also gets this one. For a second, I thought they were going boss, and I was like, there's no way. Trying to attack here from behind. And Johanna gets attacked. She can face check. She has enough. She gets the face check, and here's the Lornado. Trying to get out. Good zoning again. Johanna's immediately in the position where she has to be, creating some space for Valamax. Creating some space for him. Blessed Shield against Thrall. Nice combo. Valamax with a good setup. The Cocoon saving him. The Cocoon actually saving Li Ming for a second. Here's the Void present, and Li Ming gets out. Teleports in the Cocoon, tries to get away, might even be able to escape. Unbelievable. Li Ming was dead. Li Ming was dead, and now Valamax gets the kill. Gets the kill, gets the reset, lasers Deckard Cain into the ground, goes for the double. Another Calamity kill maybe even, and there's the triple. Down goes Thrall, and they are trying for more. They get an easy kill against Junkrat thanks to Hanzo, and there's the lockdown. Shamsik is sitting there, it's like, the fuck are you people doing? I got him. And everybody else is just like, let him go. We go for boss instead. But unbelievable. A Nuburak with a misplay in the last fight. The attack against Li Ming. Valamax is about to die. The Cocoon hits him. Zeratul tries to salvage the kill with a Void Prison at the side. Valamax is able to dodge for a moment. Gets in to the Void Prison. Gets healed afterwards. And then as Zeratul moves in and tries and secure the kill with the last final hit, all of a sudden Calamity comes in again. Bam, the kill, the reset, a quick kill against Deckard Cain. What a fight. Unbelievable. 16 now against 14. Of course, once that Zeratul has the Void Slash, it's going to be a little bit different. But damn that game. What a battle. Poland can't be happy about that. They can't be happy about that at all. Now they have to deal with the boss at the top side. Objective is on the map again. Progress 88%, they're gonna get 100, and they can't even push topside now with boss, with objective. This has to be keep. It has to be a keep. There's no 16 for Poland, there's nothing. They got nothing. They defend the boss, but the objective is now gonna move through. Just wait for this one to take another structure, by the way. Even with catapults in the map, that's gonna get another fort. But it's a trade though, fort for a keep. Top lane now. They can maybe even get more. If they get a couple of kills, that's all that they have to do right now. They're moving in. The arrow is there. Trying to get the damage. Riptire. Defends at least the front line. Zerglings are down, but there's still Ultralisks. There's still the Guardians, the Brood Lords. Fort at the bot lane, as predicted, is going down, but the keep up at the top side is dead as well. And they're trying to go for the game, of course. Arthas completes his quest. Lornado is in, trying to zone them. A lot of damage on Johanna, but they're getting the kill against the Nuburak. He's down. Can they get more? Here's the Root. Arthas walking them down. And they're going to get the kill against Thrall. Yeah, even with a Void Prison slowing it down, it's just not going to be enough. There comes the slash. Zeratul at least gets the kill against Johanna, but he himself falls too. And that has to be core. They go for Deckard. They might not get the kill here, but the core is about to fall. Yes, that has to be it. Poland down in the series, and game number 2 is not looking too pretty either. Ukraine against Poland, a 2-0 victory in Reach, and they are getting it. Nuburak is back in a few seconds, but it's not enough. Junkrat falls, and that's the end. A 2-0 victory for the Ukraine against Poland in the group stage of the European Nexus Contest.